God damn, that is really crazy. The reason why I did this video is for three reasons. One is having problems and fights with Filipinas or Filipinos. The second one is having medical problems here in the Philippines. And the third one I want to talk is about crime, especially after the SONA 2019, where the crime it's being reported heavily now, especially onto foreigners, with all these task force from Australia, Britain, and the US going down hard on foreigners lately. So now let's start with fighting in relationships with the Filipinas or Filipinos. It's really hard to have a relationship here in the Philippines. One, you're gonna have different cultures, of course. The second one is the classism, as in money, need versus wants. Everybody's gonna get into an argument. In the Philippines, the Filipinos like to push you to the edge. So if you're a person that has anger issues or issues, anything with anxiety, it's not great for you. But just be a good talker, because a lot of these girls, they love to have the last word. Always the last word. Even if they are wholly wrong and you have ample amounts of proof that they are wrong, they will never want to be wrong. And they will always want the final word. Always. So you gotta learn to set pride aside here in the Philippines, especially against Filipinas. Definitely have your pride set aside. Do not be the one that you're gonna win. At least try to compromise, because these girls, they're gonna go on and on, night and day. And if you're not smart enough, these girls can actually try to own you. Let's say, for example, I used to have an ex, and she took advantage of me for a bit because I don't hit women. She just tries to get up in my face and all this shit, and trying to go around me. And the relationship's been going bad for months. And it goes good and bad, good and bad. But there was a point where they can try to, if they're really smart enough, they could try to extort you emotionally. Because there's some problems girls that they're gonna be good and they're gonna be quiet, but just be careful with the smart ones. There's a lot of examples where guys, they don't let them go out. The Filipinos not gonna let them go out, even if it's gonna be with foreigner friends in a foreigner place. Nope. There's gonna be a lot of those jealous types, so there's gonna be a lot of arguments. Filipinos are very possessive when it comes to relationships. And that's one thing you gotta understand. If you're over 40 years old, you think you're an independent man, wait till you start dating a 20-year-old, a 25-year-old, Filipino 30-year-old, and they're gonna think they own you. The thing is that relationships between Filipinos is that the man does the work, even though it's a machismo society, but at the end, the women has the household. So they are trying to implement more on the household, and they wouldn't act the same way to a Filipino as they do to a foreigner. So just be careful on that part. No matter where, no matter how educated the person is, no matter how rich they are, they always will have the last word, and they're always gonna use it against you. Even use immigration. Like there was a time where a guy didn't pay his hotel bill for, it was like 3,000 pesos, and then he got a whole departure order, HDO, holding, so he cannot fly out of the Philippines. That's how easily the law they can get you. If they're really smart, they can get you really easily. The second one is going to be medical problems. There was a foreigner lately who got into a bike accident, and the hard part was that he didn't have any insurance here in the Philippines. And there's a lot of problems and hardships that are gonna be. The man is, has an ample amount of a good monthly pay, but even though he has a good monthly pay, the hospital bills are raping people. No matter how good you think you have it in the Philippines, the medical problems will be bad for you. For example, There can be a bill that's 150,000 pesos, for a procedure, 200,000, half a million. It all depends. So you always gotta have insurance. There was a friend recently who said AXA, and another one would be PhilHealth for foreigners. So those two I would recommend. I have my own, but especially I have PhilHealth, so it's great for you guys to have it. Just in case. There was a man who had a procedure for his throat. It would have cost him 7,000 pesos, but with PhilHealth, it only cost him 100 pesos. So you see that it's worth it having insurance. So if you think you're coming here with $700 a month, medical problems are gonna be high up there, and it's gonna be expensive. It gave me a reality check. I was like, God damn, I need to do it. If I'm in an accident tomorrow, I probably would be fucked. I have to sell everything. Less than $1,000 a month here in the Philippines, and then be thinking you're gonna live all right. Because problems always happens, and it's always, especially if you live in the provinces, you always have to think about risk management. Another one I'm gonna say is crime. Crime here in the Philippines, don't do it. Don't fuck around. That's it. Just don't fuck around. And don't be trustworthy. The biggest mistake a lot of people can do is saying Filipinos will love them just because they are foreigners. I've seen so many people say they are connected. I've seen so many people say they are, the Filipinos love them and their families, and then they end up in jail. They have pictures with cops, with mayors, and then they end up in jail. So don't think you're invisible only because you know one or two influential people here. No. Recently there was a guy allegedly murdered his wife in Subic Bay, and it was a sad sight to see. He called the cops because the wife allegedly did suicide, and he knows a lot of people in the Philippines, but still ends up in jail, and then got alleged murder charge. There was an autopsy, and then they amped up his murder to premeditated murder. So alleged, of course. There was another case which recently happened yesterday in the morning in Fields Avenue at the bar, and this is fighting with the Filipinas, going back, where they will push you to the edge. Where a man, he was very jealous. He had a bad relationship with a Filipina. Obviously, she's a bar girl. I guess there was issues going on between them, cheating, money, or whatever. He was very distraught. He was very sad, depressed, I believe. And then he went to the bar where she worked. And I guess there was a guy, and their stories were either he intervened or she was with him. I don't got the full details, but at the end of the day, a British guy stabbing the American, a younger American. The guy was like probably over 70 years old, the stabby man. But shit, yeah, and that's one thing I gotta say. These Londoners coming over here and stabbing people, just like, like in London, a good old-fashioned London night fight. All stabby and fucking going up for it. Some culturally enriched fighting techniques that were used here in Fields Avenue. London fighting techniques. Stab. I try to make this video as negative or as positive as I can, and I'm just giving you real life examples that just happened recently. So 1, toss your pride away. 2, medical insurance. And 3, don't believe the people love you. That's my best advice I can give you if you live here. If you're just up to yourself, believe in yourself, and do the shit yourself, you'll be fine. Chill. Don't be out there depending on locals or foreigners or anybody else here. Nope. London fighting techniques.